We just went through a lot of your history. I want to break out a couple of those things and ask you some specific questions. But first, I'm going to ask you a dumb question. I'm going to ask it facetiously because I want to hear you talk about the subject. For those listening who maybe aren't familiar with why is it important that a middle grade book star a character of color doing just normal things, not connected to history or some great significant statement on race overall, but just focused on middle grade activities?
Well, I believe that, well, there's a psychologist named Rudine Sims Bishop who says that, is that her name, Rudine Sims Bishop, I believe. She says that books should be mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors, meaning that a book should be a mirror in that it reflects yourself back to you. You see yourself in it. A window that it opens up that window and lets you see other people and how they live. And a sliding glass door because it lets you experience different lives and different things. And so if a child doesn't see themselves in that book, they may not relate to it. They may not even want to read. Because what I noticed with mine, I have a daughter and two sons. I grew up with books I read, none of them looked like me. I liked Little House on the Prairie, books by Beverly Cleary, Judy Blume, and I love those books and still do. But when I tried to introduce them, especially to my sons, they did not relate to that at all. They didn't want to read them. And so if kids have books with characters that they can even relate to on a day-to-day basis and feel like, yes, that's me, that's the kind of things that I do, that will encourage them to read. And not to say that those books that have the history, the slavery, and those things like that, those are important things that we need to know. But I think that they may not be able to relate. And you want to have, when you read, you want to have that heavy food, that strong food, and also the fun food or the desserts and the fun things. Reading should be fun. And also for those who are not minorities, if the only books they see show African Americans in trauma situations, then that's how they're going to see us as a people as well. And I am a product of my ancestors who were slaves here, but I'm also the product of kings and queens and happy times and good times. So I'm not just someone who's had trauma, because if you look at some of the things out there, if that's all you saw, that may be what you think of when you see an African American. So I think that's important, just to show the full scope of what we are as a people. That an African American child likes to go out and collect frogs or be outside and ride his bike just like any other child. And he may live in different parts of society. Even I want my books to be aspirational as well for some, because Sophie's in a upper middle class neighborhood in Houston, and I want them to see that there's different situations that people can be in, because a lot of the books you see with the African American protagonists show them in situations of struggle, which people of all peoples have struggled, but that's not the only story we have to tell. So I feel like those are some of the reasons it's important. It's important for the African American child to see himself as a hero and see himself as a star of the show for aspirational purposes, and also to show the full range of our existence here in the United States. And it's good for other kids of other races to see that as well.